I don't know.
I've got it.
I don't want to deal like some of these big fancy trucks.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They have a $50,000. Right.
So where do we want to put this? I'm just for discussion. Just under.
Makes everybody do.
No. Three, number three, or if we could maybe even all senses the way. Can we need that? Especially if something happens. If we could involve a bunch of activity,
Yeah, well, the CEO, new transmission, $30,000.
everybody.
Well, in this report,
Okay.
well, I talked to him
But we have.
privately too.
Yeah.
Before he wrote that report.
Sewer and water. Places essentially that not. Yeah, so like, yeah, who owned, which fund owns, this is the whole city does, the whole city does.
When he told me $30,000,
33 in here.
yeah, well, he told me that, I said, well, I think it's for 3 years and.
I wonder if
Yeah,
you think you can.
And that's
You know,
the retail line, 171. We need to add on. Okay, actually, probably. Bidding process. Essentially.
Pretty old.
I
don't know. I don't.
List price is 235.
I don't think I'd like.
Yeah, right, that's so.
Yeah, bidding does for you, right?
Well, I know this one has a warranty of $2,000.
Yeah.
Maybe
A lot of All right.
Oh,
It is 6:30. I'd like to call the meeting of the Morrison City Council to order. Our clerk is remote. But locally, I would ask the city administrator to call the roll. Alderman Bruckner.
Here.
Cruz.
Here.
Mahaffey.
Here.
Schlegel.
Here.
Cabell. Here. Tickler absent. West. Here. Zadema.
here.
May we state the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I do not believe anybody signed up for public comment. City officers, first of all, I'm gonna go reverse. We have a treasurer's report. Do you have anything to add to that? Okay, then I'll go with Nathan.
Okay, nothing new, just the turkey trot pod case, is this Saturday. It'll be a little chilly out, so if you're gonna come, maybe bundle up. We got close to about 50 signed up so far.
Okay,
So.
great.
It's a good start.
All right, and Chief has a written report. Do you wanna talk to that?
I don't have anything to add to that.
Okay. I appreciate that. All right, there's consent agenda. There are 5 items on the consent agenda. Does anybody wish to pull any of those? All right, is there a motion to approve all 5 items of the consent agenda?
So move.
Second.
It's on the floor for further discussion if there is any. If not, since there is money involved. And we need to note that Alderperson Mahaffey moved it and Schlegel seconded it. That's for Mike's benefit because he can't always hear who moves in seconds while he's taking minutes. All right. That having been said, since there's money involved, may we have a roll call vote? Alderman Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Mahaffey,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Cabell. Yes. Tickler absent. West.
Yes.
Settle.
Yeah,
Alright. For action items then, the meeting schedule, which is on page 25 of the packet for 2025. Is there a motion to approve that schedule?
So moved.
Zaidama,
Second.
Travell, second. It's on the floor for discussion. Do you wish to move any of the meetings around? Questions on the way it's scheduled? Hearing none, there's no money involved. Let's have a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's unanimous, minus the absentee. Similarly, the 2025 holiday schedule on your page 26. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
All right, so Schlegel and then Sidema. Questions on the holidays? If not, again, voice, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Okay, item 4 for consideration and action, the building improvement program, urban needs for $2,750, which was in the housing, or excuse me, historical preservation commission minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, Schlegel. Is there a second?
Second.
Bruckner. All right. Is there any discussion on that improvement?
Are we putting a limitation on any of these as far as which businesses are reaping? We're appearing to, the rich is getting richer and the poor people are saying, hey, what's happening?
Oh, I don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the money's there. You have to ask for it.
I think by the nature of this, when it's in essence a match, right? We're paying for half, then you do have to come up with the other half.
It was originally not set up to pay half. It was originally set up to.
It was,
That is the
ordinance.
ordinance, the commission. As
Well-
to how much we would reimburse for it, not, there was never half, it was always.
Well,
100%.
it's been half for quite a long time. I can show you the date on the,
I sat at some of the
municipal
original
code.
meetings.
the Alderman Travell, the code for many, many years says 50%. So, I could provide the date for you, but the ordinance says 50%. This is beyond what was budgeted. That's why it comes before the council, so it's up to your discretion whether you approve it or not.
What I have to say about this whole thing is, this one was basically sought after and approved at the same time, which is not legal, really. They need to look for this money before they do anything. This was totally done, then they asked for the money.
Yeah, that's accurate. They obtained it, according to the invoice, they obtained it in August.
August 31st. Well,
Yeah.
no, that.
Well, it was, the invoice
wrong.
was dated the 5th and it was paid on the 5th. And then, historic preservation considered it and, approved it at their regular meeting.
But you're supposed to
Back
request,
in October.
you're supposed to request beforehand.
Well,
I haven't read the
What does
ordinance.
it say?
oh, the ordinance necessarily says you have to approve it before, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no.
I still wonder if there's any limit as to, how many more of these requests are we able to take? How do we say no?
We don't,
That sort of.
we started it, we
Yeah.
can.
I think that was my one concern. I was just gonna say too, is that like at some point, we're gonna have to play the jerk.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? It's
Well,
like,
you can-
where does the, where does that stop?
Well, we can always. Push it to next fiscal year too,
Yeah.
whatever that is. I don't think there's gonna be that many.
Yeah.
We've only had 2. And the one previously, the work was done, and then they came to us and we approved it.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if people are willing to fix up their businesses downtown, I think, and if this is the ordinance, I think it's in the right.
Well, it just
I don't think we're at
just
20
seems to
people
me,
coming.
it seems to me that they can request more and more. And more people can request. And I'm just wondering if there's any kind of limit or any way to say, no, we can't do that because we've run out of money. What are we gonna do? Just keep doing this out of the general account until. I mean, this is hypothetical, obviously, but that's what I kind of wonder.
Well, I wonder if, and I'm trying to remember where we landed on this, but I think for next year, we probably should. Kind of set maybe a higher limit, but I don't know if just, and always case by case from here on out, kind of puts us in a tough spot.
Do we at all, we don't even limit each entity's ability to request, like the same entity or business could request reimbursement repeatedly. So there's no limit to the number of times they
That
can,
would be our discretion then.
right, but then,
Whatever they're doing in the outside.
When it
I
was
mean,
set
they've
up,
already done it, then we could deny it. I mean, if they're coming back for the same money.
Mhm.
It's our decision to approve or deny, and if we believe it's the same application, then, you know, that's a deniable offense, if you will.
Mhm.
So far, I mean, we've had two.
Well, I think next fiscal year, I think the budget has to be increased.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
it was originally set up with a limited budget. It was originally set up with only $10,000 available. Then it got moved to $20,000 total. That's why it was a percentage.
And I think you're
Well-
gonna have some years, you're gonna have more than others.
and again, it's a good thing, you know.
Very good.
yeah, I'm gonna come
Very
back
good.
to this specific request really quick and just say. What they've done, I know, although this time, because since I've been on the council, these have just started coming in, I haven't really seen any previously. But what they've done did enhance the downtown area. It did enhance the building and aesthetically for the entire community to enjoy. Which is, I think, what this was probably the spirit this fund was set up in. So I don't know, I'm just,
Well, here's the thing, according to the strategic planning, the one of the things people do not like is vacant buildings, and these
Right.
buildings are not vacant, they're renovating them, they're updating them, and they're putting good businesses in them, whoever's doing it, and I think as a city, it's good for us to see that happening. And for us to pay $2,500, I think, it's according to the ordinance.
I wish it would have said beforehand, but I mean, obviously that renovation came at huge cost.
yeah, yeah.
With that building.
Yeah.
I mean, and that had sat there because people were afraid
Mhm.
of investing that level of money in that building
Right.
for years.
Yeah.
So,
So just to.
Not against that.
Yeah.
Per se.
Just for the council's information, the. Section 26-120 of the Building Improvement Program within the municipal code. The paragraph, referring to 50% of the eligible cost. Was updated last in 2018, so it's been 50% for at least 6-7 years. But to be eligible, under the procedural steps, following project completion, the project will, the property owner must submit a request. So it seems as though they followed the procedural steps
And I
correctly.
think the one previous to that, the painting was done before they came to us as well,
Yeah,
just, I didn't know.
so it appears that they followed this stuff. It's just, as stated before, we had budgeted only $5,000 in the budget. Because for many years, it just simply
Nobody
wasn't
came
used.
to it, yeah.
And we've exceeded that this year already, so
Did we-
this is certainly at your
Was there anybody
discretion.
last year that came, anybody remember? I don't remember, I think, I've only had two that I remember.
I really don't remember.
So there's been more over the years.
No, I'm just saying last year.
Maybe
We
one.
never dealt more than
years.
$5,000 in a total
yeah,
year ever.
Yeah,
But what I'm saying is this year, we've had two.
yeah.
I mean,
This is a good problem.
That's
Yeah,
about
there
it.
you go.
yeah, and that,
I
yeah.
wouldn't mind to,
Oh, that's about.
I wouldn't mind to Vern's point in terms of people that have money or don't. That we don't need to pull up the whole process, but it would actually be nice if people could get an approval beforehand, because maybe they can't come up with $5,000.
Right.
But maybe they could come up with 2,500. And if they knew that they were gonna get reimbursed, maybe that would push them over the finish line to get something done. I'm just saying. we're
But they
not-
would still have to come up with that money first,
Right,
according to the
They,
ordinance.
they would, but it would sure be easier to maybe do that knowing
Sure.
you're only gonna have to come up with the
Right.
2,500.
So you're on the
Sure.
hook for,
And you're not rolling the dice and hoping that after it, that, you
I
know,
think that'd be a better way to do it.
yeah,
There's a $10,000 limit, do know that.
yep.
Which is good. Cause that,
Oh, yeah, there's
Yeah.
one.
yeah, there's a limit for sure, so. But it's great to see people downtown improving their buildings. And our general fund balance, I think, can support it.
So I think it's gonna pick up. I think you're gonna reach a critical mass here with,
I,
the ones down farther and there's a bunch of them that are looking good now, so
Yeah.
that's gonna just try to push the ball forward there, so. Like I said, we should just kind of plan on that and next time have a higher budget and then say this is available. They still like that idea of having them apply for it first. Because if they have the money, what do they need the money from us for? If
Says an option.
they should be able to be planning on this, saying how much we can afford and let's try to get X amount from the city and that's all part of the plan. We approve it, they do what they're gonna do.
Alderman Bruckner, you're the only one who hasn't spoken to this. I'm leaving an option and then we'll call a vote.
we're just talking. about-
I'm sorry, I don't
We've already
Intend to
spoken.
put you on the spot.
We've
I
already,
just,
just repeating a lot of stuff we already.
okay, appreciate that.
I like, it's a good problem to have. There's years we haven't reached a limit, there's years, I assume that we haven't spent any money. So as far as history goes, we're way ahead. If there's a year, once in a while that we go over the limit, I don't think it's a big deal when downtown's getting improved.
It isn't only for downtown people.
I know, but
This
that's
is
so far.
for anybody on Highway 30.
In historical district,
Or if your building is a historical building,
I'm just referring to
yeah.
what we had in front of us.
Okay. I don't know why we didn't think about rolling it over from year to year. I mean, if you budget it and you don't spend it, you're supposed to roll it over.
We just weren't thinking of it, because
Well,
it never was
well,
coming up.
That's an approach, yeah.
yeah, that's an approach that you could create a special fund for it and do that. Or put a line item in the capital fund for it. Without creating a new fund,
It won't do no good the way it's written.
right?
You can do whatever you want.
Exactly.
But in the ordinance, it does it every, I don't think it says when it would be approved, correct? So if somebody came to us this year. And if we felt we didn't have the money, we could say we could reimburse you next fiscal year, correct? There's
Yes,
no
yes.
timeframe.
But yes, beyond,
Right,
correct. And the only reason why this is brought to the council is because it's,
correct,
because we're beyond what they expended.
yeah.
Normally, they can expend up to the budget without coming to the council, but at 50% per project. So, yeah,
Well, I think the mayor is right. We need to vote on this.
Yeah, let's, and I will express an opinion. Let's not over-engineer this for $2,750. That would be the mayor's opinion. All that having been said, it does involve money.
Yeah.
If, we're ready to vote, we do need a roll call vote.
Alderman Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz. I'm sorry,
Yes.
Mahaffey,
yes,
Flagel,
Yes.
Gravel.
Yeah.
West,
Yes.
Dynamo.
Yeah,
All right. Um. Next item for action is on the community room rental and policy agreement, your pages 27 to 29. Again, these proposals have been exposed in earlier meetings. This is an effort to tighten up expected behaviors. And I think a motion to approve is in order.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so Schlegel moved, I think, Mahaffey, we'll give Mahaffey the second. Okay, this is a policy only. It's been exposed before, just to just to tighten up procedures and using this particular room, and where applicable, using the tech as well, and the kitchen. Any discussion?
Just wondered if you thought about putting in, if we thought about putting like a lost key fee, be surprised so many people. say they lost the
I
key.
would say that's in the deposit,
It's in the.
I would say,
So it's not- But I'm just throwing that idea.
because they have to return the key to, along with everything else to get their deposit back, so. If they lose the key. We could go with actual cost to replace it, I mean. I don't know if we want to charge them $100, but we take that out of the deposit.
Okay, all right. Just go ahead.
Okay, we actually have revised dollar amounts in this proposal, so we should have a roll call vote. But I do not want to cut off discussion. Any further discussion on this? If not, then let's have a roll call.
Alderman Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Happy,
Yes,
Schlegel,
Yes.
Rebel,
yes,
West,
Yeah.
yeah,
Zidle. I'll take that.
All right. And then starting on page 30, the tax levy, again, this has been exposed. And were there any changes from the previous exposition?
Just a slight. Just a slight change in our favor. This is. The value of the valuation, the estimated valuation is kind of fluid. So. I don't want to confuse you, but you're approving figures, and I see a typo already on page 31, but you're approving dollar amounts, but technically you're approving the rate. Because when we go to file this by the end of December, the valuation of Morrison will change a little bit. So, but as long as we're within that 5%, it's not a big deal. If we go over the 5%, then I'll get a letter from the circuit, from the county clerk, and we'll just adjust those amounts along with the rate, but nothing, of any big deal, I guess you could say.
All right,
So,
so let's get it on the floor. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so Schlegel moved, West second. And now, let's talk about, I just noticed that typo too, the numbers don't match. Right, in the
So the
text,
figure-
and
yeah, in the ordinance, under police protection, the rate amount should be 48, 5, 59, 58. Oh, boy, there's an extra 5 in there. So
Oh, wow.
that would be really cool. No,
but and then
I missed another
if you
one.
look at the text in section 2,
Yeah.
that
Oh.
number is just a little bit off the total of the table.
Yeah, the number on the table is accurate, so
Okay,
we can make that
so,
change.
a motion to amend, and we could do both items in one amendment. Change the number in the text to match the number at the bottom of the table, and change the police protection to remove one of those fives in the middle there.
Unless you want to make that part of the original motion, that we have not made yet.
No, it's been moved and seconded, it's on the floor.
I did make a motion.
No.
Yeah,
What's that again?
Who did that?
Legal.
Legal West.
Boy.
So,
Really getting screwed up.
so a motion to amend with those two items would be in order. I think combining the two is okay since they are typographical.
Who's busy, you can't make the motion.
Well,
I'll make a motion.
okay, Mahaffey moves to amend. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Bruckner seconds. So the amendment changes the text on that first line of section 2 to change that number to 699-685.20. And the amendment also changes police protection to remove one of the fives following the comma in that 48 number.
Mayor, can I ask, so is this a pretty consistent number from last year? And valuations went up or down? Well, it's pretty.
Valuations went up.
They went up, not like a lot or not too much, right?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Nothing to brag about,
Yeah,
but,
right.
but enough to,
Yeah,
But not enough for us to lower our rate is, I guess what I'm saying.
right. So
You know
we're
what I mean?
still within that,
right.
we're right below the 5%, yeah.
Okay.
So first of all, we should discuss the amendment if there's any further questions on that, that being typographical. Hearing no discussion, the amendment does involve dollars, so we should have a roll call.
Alderman Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Mahaffey,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Trebell,
Yes.
West,
Yes,
Zeddemore.
Yes.
All right, so we have an amended motion, which basically reflects what has been exposed 2 times. Is there any further discussion on that for our taxing rates? Hearing none, we also need a roll call on this.
Alderman Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Mahaffey,
Yes.
Slagle,
Yes.
Trebell,
Yes.
West.
Yeah.
Zeddemore.
Yes.
All right. Fees, penalties, and bonds, starting on page 34. Again, these are suggestions to bring us a little bit up to date on some of the fees that haven't been changed in a while. Particularly if you look at Exhibit A on page 37, liquor, gaming machines, and then, as has been discussed before on page 38, vacant building fees. And then some miscellaneous fees on cemetery cremations, burials. And then, as discussed before, updates to usage of the community room. And again, simplifying the peddler fee to remove all of those various categories. And then updating some other fees that haven't been updated in a long time, utilities, etc. Zoning. And again, these have been exposed.
So moved.
All right, so,
Second.
okay, West moved, Mahaffey seconds. Is there any discussion or questions on this schedule? If not, again, it has money, so we need a roll call.
Alderman Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yeah,
Mahaffey,
Yes,
Slagle,
Yes.
Terrell,
Yes.
West,
Yes,
Side.
Yes,
Motion carried.
All right, and then we have the property for rezoning. From residential to commercial. Starting on page 43. Again, this would be. The. What had been the livery,
was that residential at the time? I was like thinking like. Was
Yeah,
every
it
statement
says here-
considered residential or something?
R2
For
residential.
horses, maybe.
I guess so. Wow. Yeah, I was kind of surprised it was
And
residential.
again, reference to planning and zoning minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
so move.
second,
Okay, Mahaffey moves, Zeideman seconds. Is there any discussion, questions? Hearing none, we can do a voice vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, it passes. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, we are going to remove items 9 and 10. We have not heard from the third party on that project. So we have nothing to act on. Discussion, starting on page 48. This is the organization, the Intergovernmental Personnel Benefit Cooperative, which is a benefits co-op for employees. And there you can see the PowerPoint starts on page 48. And I would ask the city administrator to tee this up and expose it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, so I looked earlier this summer, I learned of this cooperative. Because there's been some discussion in the past about, of course, we look at our health insurance and all other benefits each year and always shop to find the best cost-effective benefit and coverage benefit for our employees, of course. I don't know if the council has been made aware of this cooperative in the past, but I did a little homework and met with our representative, which is his name is Dave Cooks. And went through a PowerPoint and which is in your packet. I can provide you with, it looks like part of it's cut off, but I can provide you with a complete packet. But essentially, this is just a statewide cooperative where you become a member. Municipalities become a member if they so choose. And then it's basically a pooled risk insurance. The major players are still involved, Blue Cross, United Healthcare, our current health insurance company, Cigna, is not part of the cooperative. And then the various life insurances, vision, dental, the same companies we use now are within that. We hope and expect to receive a quote from them in the very near future to consider our health insurance benefits for employees for fiscal year 26. We've started a little earlier this year because the process would, if we join this cooperative, the process takes a little bit longer and we basically have to join now in order to get this started May 1st of 2026. I don't have the numbers yet. That's why I just kind of wanted to introduce you to this cooperative. And I believe for the long term, it's very beneficial for the city. They've been around since the 70s. The average increase for all municipalities involved is 2 to 3% a year. Some go less. Yes, they actually go down, believe it or not. Or stay the same with zero increase, or maybe up a few percent. They've never had a double digit increase in their health insurance. And while we're also looking at this, we also, they are also looking at a different program which would lower our deductible, but of course increase our premiums. In comparison to what we have now, higher deductibles, lower premiums, if you will, with our deductible insurance program, where we reimburse employees part of their deductible. So we're gonna compare the two to see which is the better route to go. If we pay a little more premium, but then we don't have the deductible reimbursement, we still might come out ahead, but then our cost is fixed and we know it each year, where right now, the deductible program, we could have a good year, we could have a bad year. It's just kind of, we go back and forth, but on average, we're spending, at least the last couple of years, over $30,000 just in the deductible program for employees. So, we're kind of looking at this both ways to see which is the better deal for us. And of course, the best product, if you will, the best health insurance benefit for our employees. So I just want to bring it up to you. I'm not sure if we'll actually have a representative here when we have the quote or not, but I hope we can look at this by the next meeting, so we can perhaps make a decision before next year. So please stay tuned.
So just to be clear, that would be starting May 1 of 2025.
Correct.
Okay.
I tried to get
To
it
be in
on.
FY 26.
I tried to see if we could move it along to start January 1st to get, because as everybody knows, with your health insurance, deductibles are by calendar year. And our fiscal year is May 1st. So I was trying to get everything a little more on the calendar year, but it didn't happen. So we will stay with the fiscal year.
Okay. All right. And as you page through that, always give city administrator a call, see where, if you have any questions and what's going on there.
There, if I may, a few local, Dixon was the most recent municipality in our area that joined. They just joined this summer. But Rochelle's in it, Rock Falls is in it, Lee County, Byron, and some municipalities around the Quad City area. So there's good membership there.
They say why they're perceived lower than other.
Well, it's pooling. You're all pulling in, more employees you have pooled in a health insurance plan. You spread the risk out and it ultimately saves everybody money.
An average,
What's that?
it's an average.
Yeah.
So that's-
So, and it's a cooperative, which means it's nonprofit or?
Yeah, it's a not-for-profit.
But yeah, as you said, you look at this slide, Brian, on page 60, the usual providers are there, so.
Yep.
Okay. So as the city administrator says, watch this space. And this, next is the executive summary and full report of our strategic plan, starting on page 75. We have reviewed a draft and made some comments back to Northern. And they came back to us with this package. And again, this is just for exposure right now. At one point, we will accept it. So please, at your leisure, do read this. The mayor's reaction is there were some of the things that bubbled up are some of the things we've already put on our own plan. So I felt that was pretty good. Other than that, definitely want your input and reaction before we ask for acceptance of the plan. This point, we would ask for a motion to. Pardon? Oh, sorry. We do have, by your seat, a discussion item on, a dying piece of equipment. Our backhoe is in dire need of a repair. And, you've got a quote there for the repair of almost $50,000. After which it would be worth $30,000. The second page is a quote for a new one, which would end up, if you turn it all the way over, at $160,000. But the city does need a backhoe, and the current one is just, and I'm not a mechanic by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm told it is not. Almost not worth saving. So. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
I would, Mr. Mayor, so. As I had stated in my report, we were kind of looking at this in our budget plan for next year, possibly to be replaced. It's a 2008. It was in fair condition until last week when the transmission went out in it. And so they came and picked it up, and Martin out of Silvis came and picked, they've always done our service for us. They've been really good to us. It's where we bought it back in 2008, I believe. I find very little records on this backhoe, so, but that's what we believe it is, a 2008. It's a 2007 or 8. It's had a lot of good life. We've used the heck out of it. It's a necessary piece of equipment. To rent one's about $1,400 a week. So we really don't want to do that. So we got a quote to replace or to repair the transmission, and it came back to be just short of $50,000 to replace the transmission. And believe it or not, it would be worth, as the mayor said, $30,000 after we fixed it. That's the market rate on that old of a backhoe. So we asked them to put it together, to put a price quote together for us, and this all happened. We knew something bad was happening. We just didn't know how bad it was going to be before the agenda. So this is not on the agenda, but if you bear with me for a second, I'll explain. So this was quoted through Sourcewell, which is a state government bidding process. And if you see on the quote for a new one, the list price on essentially an identical new piece of equipment, the list price is $235,904. The government price through Sourcewell is $133,150. With the necessary options that we need or would like on the backhoe, it would total $161,311.95. I was hoping for kind of a consensus vote from the council tonight. We could move this purchase forward, and then, as Tim Zollinger, our legal counsel, said, then ratify it at the next meeting. Make it official at the next meeting, even though if there's a consensus, we would probably get it beforehand. Martin does have one in stock, I believe at their Peoria location, but we may have a couple of the options might delay it a little bit. So we're going to cross our fingers and hope we don't need a backhoe. If not, we have a couple of backup plans. A couple of the local townships would perhaps help us out. we really don't want to use their equipment with salt, so we hope we don't need salt. Before we get this back home. So, again, it has been vetted through the government pricing process with Sourcewell that we are members of. If you remember, we became members last year, so there's that. Not necessarily the best news. And when you spend this kind of money, you want to be careful with it, so we want to make sure we get the right equipment, the equipment we need, because it's gonna last us, we hope, more than 16 years, but it's gonna last us. This would be funded and supported through 3 funds, of course, the general capital fund. And then water and sewer, because everybody uses it, so.
I got a question. How many hours is on the old?
That's a good question. Mike did tell me that. I don't know if I can get that to you right off the bat.
I need it today.
He's home. I didn't buy it.
Yeah, it probably don't make any difference.
Also, just for curiosity, what happens to the old one if we buy a new one?
We get a trade-in value of a whopping $10,000 for it.
It does seem like for this expense, 16 years, I mean, I don't know about this stuff. I would hope to think you'd get more than 16 out of it, but maybe you don't. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money for a 16-year piece of equipment, but.
Yeah, I mean, you hope to get more than 16 years out of it. There's 4,800 hours on it. Or
3,800?
4,800.
Oh.
It's been used.
Nothing.
That's nothing?
That's nothing.
Okay.
It does seem like we got a clunk.
It was enough to ruin the transmission.
My brother has 3 tractors. I got probably over 10,000 hours on. They're the 80s, 1980s, early
This is a
80s.
John Deere too. I mean, this is a good quality.
He probably doesn't abuse his equipment.
So is other than the transmission, is it worn out or is it just the transmission?
Can't be ordered on it.
It's not, yeah, it's not worn out. It's in fair condition. We just put new tires on it.
Yeah.
We get it serviced every year. Mike's been concerned with the transmission for a little bit now, and we said, well,
So equipment wise, but if you put seems a little ridiculous, but you put a rebuilt transmission and that you're spending 50 versus 160.
Yeah, that's really
guess I don't know.
ridiculous. You can't do that. I mean, 30,000, which I was kind of told first, yeah, maybe you could do that. To get by for 3 years, 4 years. But I can't see spending 50,000 when you have
Yeah.
something that's 16 years old.
yeah, we thought,
Anything could happen. Day motor could go down 10 hours after you get it back. Then you got another 50,000.
So why do you say that 4,800 hours is nothing?
It is.
Well,
On a piece of
what is
equipment,
expected?
10,000, 15,000. But the city would never use something for that many hours. I mean. Well, you could see 16 years, only put 40-some hundred hours on it.
when we first took it in, they gave us a quote of about, as Alderman Zideman said, about 33,000. And we were kind of, well,
Yeah, I could see spending that. But
but then
And they priced it out.
they confirmed everything. They had to add some labor, of course, to it. And we got the updated quote, and I'm glad I was sitting down when I got it, so.
But then they come in with the great sales after that, right? Or is everybody buying it from the same spot?
Yeah,
Yeah. But we got a deal for you.
So. It's but the 3 funds, it comes from general, water, and then street sewer. General water sewer. Okay.
So this isn't something we have to put out for bid, you guys?
No, because, we're part of Sourcewell, which is a municipal, bidding cooperative, much like the insurance.
Right.
Well, we've got two shop labors on this. One's $8,000 almost, and one's almost 16,000. There's where the cost is.
Right.
It's a clutch and a replacement, yeah.
Fight the bullet and buy a new one.
All right. There you go.
Yeah, everything for both.
All right, so we could do this quickly, tonight and say approve the
No.
purchase, or just give us your consensus and we will come back.
Consent go,
Pardon?
consent go big.
Okay,
So does anybody object to moving forward with it and then formalizing it, ratifying it for legal counsel?
It says go ahead.
hearing no objections to the consent, we will go ahead and do this and then we'll present approval for the purchase at a subsequent meeting. I haven't heard an objection to that approach. All right, now, I would ask for a motion to go into executive session. We have two quick items.
So moved.
All right, so I would say at 7:19, regular session ends.
Oh, who was the first and second? I'm sorry.
Okay, Terrell,
First, that's like.
pardon? Thank you. Okay, 7.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
All righty, thanks.
Thanksgiving.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see y'all Saturday.
Okay.
Gobble, gobble.
Yeah, I can pass.
All right.
Make sure you get those heaters on the start line.
Exactly. Like at the sidelines.
You're
of
gonna drive
football
ahead
games.
with a nice, heater.
There you go.
You run into it.
I wanted the Rocky years ago.
There you go.
I'll send my wife instead.
Yeah.
There we are. Muted.
Yeah, they are, Mark.